David, come on in. It's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Sorry we're having to meet under these circumstances. Is there anything I can get for you? You need a refreshment, coffee, soft drink, water, anything
I'm
like
good.
that?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Well, unfortunately, whenever we have to meet like this, there is a certain amount of business that we have to do. So before I go any further, this is always the first thing I do for everybody that comes here. By law, I have to give you a general price list. So regardless of what we plan on today, our general price list, it has all of our caskets already in it, has our outer containers already in it, has a breakdown of our prices from packages to individual things that are itemized all through here. But I'm going to give you this to start out with. And they probably gave you one last night when they picked your wife up. It was in that blue folder.
Yes, sir.
But I'm going to go ahead and have you sign right there that you did receive that GPL, the general price list.
Okay.
You just go ahead and sign there at the bottom. All right. Okay, well, before we go any further, let's set the business aside for just a minute. Could you tell me a little bit about your wife?
You know, Katie, she's a loving wife, loving mother. She's got, you know, we got two sons and a daughter. She's all around. I think she's just one of those people that likes to try to help anybody and everybody she can. And she's got a golden heart, and I just, you know, hate that she's gone. It's you know, it's rough on the family right now. So it's.
Well, I mean, that's understandable for it to be rough, especially the kids.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have a different role than the kids do, but you were all close to her, so that's completely understandable. Now, had she been sick long?
For a little while, yeah. It's been rough. Like I said, I hate. I mean, it's been rough on me and everything. But like I said, I'd say, like you said it yourself. It's the kids. It'd be the roughest on the kids. And it's really rough on me. But I hate it for the kids for the most part.
Did she? What was she like when you had her in good health? I mean, did she have hobbies? Did you?
Oh yeah, she's you know, feisty and with it. She's quite the I guess cheerleader more or less for the kids for the ball games and whatnot. So she really enjoyed watching the baseball and football games with the boys, and for our daughter, you know, the basketball games and even watching her cheerlead and everything. So
That takes up a lot of time.
oh, it's a full-time job right there by itself.
Usually the parents I've been around that have been really directly involved in those sports like that, especially at the Little League, they're not just parent. They may not be the coach, but they've got to play more than one role because they're going all the time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, she's going three different areas or three different, you know, directions all the time. So it's.
She must not have been lazy then. She
No,
must have been a
definitely
doer.
not. She was a go-getter.
Now, what year did you graduate with her?
No, she graduated a year ahead of me.
Year ahead of you. So that puts you back into early 2000s or?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Now, did she go to high school here in Salisaw?
Yes, sir. She went to Salisaw High School.
Okay, well, I went to Salisaw High School too, but it was probably a decade or two before y'all did, so. But I think I was probably if you guys graduated from the building they're in now, I was the first class to graduate out of that building.
Oh, okay. Well,
We were a split class. We went the first semester at the old school, second semester at the new school, but anyway,
pretty neat, yeah.
It's been there longer than you think, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's been coming, and I know that you've had time to think about it, but at the same time, it's one of those things you don't like to have to think about.
Right.
But did you have anything in mind as far as the services go, or what you kind of wanted for Katie? And the reason I'm asking, I'm not trying to point you in any particular direction, there's a lot of options you have. And, maybe the way that we need to clarify this a little bit or make it easier on you, cause we've got a lot of different merchandise options, a lot of different, options for how you're gonna do a service if you choose to do that. But as far as the disposition goes, you know, traditionally, burial's been popular, especially in our county. You know, a lot of different things we can do for a burial or cremation. I mean, this is completely up to you.
She's always told me from day one that she's always wanted to be cremated.
Okay, is that something, now on the cremation, and here again, we're not trying to steer you in a particular direction. We have had some families that have come back. They said, you know, maybe we wouldn't talk to them for a year. Maybe the next time we saw them was when another one of the family members had passed. But they had said that at some point during the time after their wife or their parent had passed away, that they looked back on the situation and they said that they had some regrets. And a couple of them said it was because of the cremation. The thing I want to make sure that you understand, the cremation is undoable. Once it's done, you can't go back and redo that. And if that's what she wanted, then that's completely fine. And if that's the way that's the direction you want to go. I just want to make it known to you that there's a lot of ways that we can honor our loved ones. And we do it in life. You're doing it with your kids. It sounds like that's what Katie was doing with those kids every time she went to one of their games. But in death, we want to make sure that we honor them as well.
Yes, sir. No,
So, I mean, if cremation is that direction you want to go, then that opens up a door for some other opportunities here for us. It sounds like you do want to stick with cremation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as her spouse, you would be the one that would have the authorization to do that, what we would consider the authorized agent, or you're the next of kin. And I know this seems like a formality, but just to kind of cover us both, could I make sure that I can see your driver's license? That we
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We can get all that down, and I'll just. Okay, all right. We'll write that number down here. Okay. All right. Now, as far as cremation goes, now I'm assuming, well, I can't assume, I don't know. Were you wanting to have a service along with this?
Yes.
Okay. What we're going to do is you can do this in different ways. We're going to take direct cremation off the table then, because in that case, that's where you go ahead and sign all the necessary paperwork, and we take care of that for you. You come back in, you receive the cremains, take possession of them, and that's it.
Okay.
The reason a lot of people are choosing not to do that is because they realize after the fact that they didn't feel like they did give enough respect to their loved ones. So if you're wanting to have some kind of a service or visitation and service, then that opens the door for a whole lot of different things. So let me just kind of start explaining, and I'll kind of start towards the lower end. We can go ahead through the cremation process. And then after we receive the cremains back, we can have a memorial service here at the funeral home, a church, a place of your choosing. Now, you can do that on your own, and that gives you some time to plan.
Okay.
Maybe if you have people coming in and out of town, the funeral home at that point doesn't have to be involved. A lot of people like for us to be involved at that point because we still have a little more experience doing things like that.
Right.
And if it comes down to the point where you even want a caterer for a special meal or something, we can help arrange for that. A lot of people, the problem with that, they have good intentions. They're going to say that they're going to have a follow-up service at some point, and then life resumes.
Right.
It gets busy, especially for you, you're going to be a single parent now, and they never go back and do it. Or they wait so long when they do it, the meaning of it has changed a little bit.
Right.
You can also have a memorial service. We can do that here in our chapel for you.
Okay.
And we can go ahead and schedule dates for that or your church. Now, do you think it would be important to go ahead, and I'm not talking about an identification viewing, I'm talking about to have like a public visitation for maybe her friends, her family, you, the kids as well, to see her that one last time. Maybe to give you some closure towards the end.
Let's let's do that. I prefer to do that.
Okay, now on that, we can, what that will require though, and it doesn't have to be, there's no laws that say that we have to embalm. But when you bring the public aspect into it, and they're gonna be viewing someone who has passed, would you rather us go ahead and embalm her? And that way she would be preserved and be in better shape for the viewing?
Yeah, yes, sir. I think that'd be best.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and, let's see. Okay, we've chosen cremation there. So we're gonna do a cremation. So now, do you want to do the visitation plus a service then, like normal?
Yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna do visitation. All right, so we're gonna do visitation, yes. And I'll have you sign something, so I'll give them permission to embalm here in just a second. Or later on, so we're gonna go ahead and embalm too. And at the end of our conference, I'm gonna give you a to-do list.
Okay.
Just of some small things that you're gonna probably have to do for all of this in the next coming days. Because we go through this all the time, but you don't. So this will just kind of a helpful list.
Oh, I appreciate that.
All right, okay, now, that does bring up something about, if we're gonna have a service, what kind of casket you would like her to be viewed in before she does go for cremation. Now, we've got a lot of caskets in our showroom. Now, you could choose a metal casket. She would not be able to be cremated with that casket, which would force us to have to come up with another container, like an alternative container for that, following the laws for this, okay. You can choose a wooden casket, and that could be cremated with her. Now, if there's a lot of ornamentation on that, then we take care of that at the crematorium. Okay, they might remove some of the metal pieces from it that wouldn't, be consumed up in the fire. But that's an option too. And some of the wooden caskets are nice, but yet a little more plain to where there wouldn't be as much to take off, if any. There is an option, we call it a ceremonial casket. And it serves two purposes, and this is what it's specifically made for. They're really nice, they're oak. I can show that to you here in a little while. But what it has a insert on the inside that comes with its own fabric. So it would be just like you stepping in the showroom and looking at a wood casket, and you could tell no difference. So after we would have the visitation, after we would have the service, that insert can be removed. And it's rigid, it's good enough that where she can be transported to the crematorium in that. And it has its own top, its own covering lid that goes on top of it. So the casket serves two purposes. It allows you to have the viewing, the service you want. It allows us that through the insert that's in the inside of it to be able to transport Katie to the crematorium. And yet at the same time, you're not going to be out all the expense of a lot of these wood caskets or the metal caskets that we have in our showroom. And on your general price list, I think it has that listing. A ceremonial casket here. Let me find where it's at. Okay, for $625. And that includes the insert that comes with it. Now, the range, you can see the range of some of our wooden caskets and others to kind of compare it to.
Okay.
But that is, and I don't want you to feel like that's a second-rate item, because it's not. That's what they manufacture it for. But it gives you the ability to do what you're wanting to do to achieve that. And at the same time, it is a little more cost-effective for you. So if we'll need to make a decision on that here in just a few minutes, or before you leave.
Okay.
Now, with that in mind, what about, now if we're going to do services, we're gonna have to, at some point, if you need time to think about it, you can come back in or make a call and let us know. Do you wanna have it here at the chapel? Or
Yeah,
this
I
church?
think it would be easier to have it here at the chapel.
Okay. And incidentally, we seat about 180 people. Okay, and plus the lobby. And then we've got some staterooms if we had to take overflow that we could take them there and they could view through the monitors. So I'm gonna put down chapel service. Okay, is there a particular day that looks good for you? Now keep in mind, whatever date we choose, normally, if this is the way you choose it, we would have that visitation the day before. So today is what is today, the 25th? This Thursday, we could have, really, it's just up to you. Now, if you want to speed it up and have a visitation by tomorrow, we can do that. But we could kick it off till next week if you think you need to get more time to get family in.
Yeah, let's wait till next week, try to get, more family.
Okay.
That way, people that's out of town and everything, we can get them all gathered up.
Okay, what about Tuesday?
Tuesday would work, but I think that'd be fine.
Okay, so we're going right now, Tuesday. It's here at the chapel, which, is it okay to have the visitation the day before?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna go on a Wednesday visitation. Now on Tuesday, do you prefer a morning or afternoon service?
If we can do an afternoon, I think that'd still give enough time for people who's coming in at the last minute.
Okay. 2 o'clock?
Yeah, that'll work perfect.
Now, as far as the visitation goes, I'm going to assume that usually it's a courtesy thing for us to let you all see her first.
Sure.
Before we let anybody else see Katie, let the family have their time.
Yeah.
Now, as far as it being open to the public, on Wednesday, we can do all day, we can do a half day, it's up to you.
I think a half day will be fine.
Okay, do you want to, normally, we'll take them till 7 or 8 o'clock that evening. We could do 2 to 7.
That'll work, yeah, that'll work perfect.
All right, so we're gonna write down 2 to 7 o'clock. We'll be here in our chapel. Now, I already know this, we will not be having any services that day, on Wednesday. Since you all are younger, I'm gonna assume there's gonna be a lot of people at this visitation. So
Yes,
instead of using like one of our staterooms, and obviously there's no charge for this, or no extra charge, how about we do this in the chapel?
Yeah.
Give everybody more room.
Yeah, I like that idea.
All right, now, is there a time between 2 and 7 that the family wants to be here to greet everybody?
No, I mean, I think it'll be, I think the whole 2 to 7 deal, I think that'll give people plenty of time. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's gonna be coming in beforehand anyways, so.
Okay, so we'll just list it as, open, just regular public viewing
Yes,
from
sir.
2 to 7, and we'll just say that the family will be present.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so that gets us, we've got our date, we've got our date for visitation, our times are locked down. All right, now since this is gonna be cremation, all right, in a minute, I'm gonna show you some options for urns for after the fact. Now, clergy. Do you have anybody in mind, a pastor or just an individual? And if you don't know right this minute, that's okay.
No, I don't know about this thing.
Okay, so that'll be one of the things I'm gonna put a little asterisk by there that we'll put on your to-do list.
Sure.
All right. Let me go ahead here, and I'm gonna have you sign since you are the authorizing agent. This is a cremation authorization. Now, I've already got Katie's name here.
Sure.
We do our cremations third party. We don't do those ourselves, and we use Southern Heritage in Tulsa.
Okay.
Now, I want you to know, and I want you to have assurances in the reason why we're using them. We've done several inspections on them with giving them no notice at all. And we carry our own little list up there of things that we check off, because whenever we send somebody to you to be cremated at Southern Heritage, we want to know that we have the assurance in our mind and with faith with them that they're doing a good job. First thing we've always noticed, they've always passed. There's never been any discrepancies whatsoever. And the one thing that has always kind of impressed me, we've been inspecting them unannounced for several years now, and they still have the same people working for them. So there's not a lot of turnover. The people know their business. So that's who's going to be there. Now this right here says that the delivery is going to come back to the funeral home with the cremains afterwards. And then we've got a list here of different things that I'm just going to briefly describe to you. One is there's going to be an indemnity thing down here listed to where what that says is that Southern Hills Forever Memories, we can't be held liable for anything that could happen to the cremains, whether it could be, a traffic accident on delivery or anything like that. That kind of keeps us from being liable on any of that. And just to make it known to you, for instance, this won't be the case here, but if there happen to be too many cremains to fill up one container, then they'd come back to us in two, okay? There are some, but along with that, they do this in a very upright and structured way. But the reason I bring this up is because we've had some people ask about this. Yes, it's the same process that occurs for your wife, that occurs for other people that are cremated. So will you get back 100% of her cremains? Probably not, but you're going to get 99.95% of her cremains back because of how those retorts are constructed. There could be minute amounts and different things that wouldn't come back. Okay. Also, and I wanted to point this out, it's usually not an issue, but by signing this, if for some reason no one comes to claim these cremains for 6 months, then by signing this, you are giving us the permission to go ahead and dispose. And when I say dispose, I'm talking about either put in a niche or bury or scatter the ashes in a dignified way. Mm-hmm. Because the last thing we think that is dignified is to leave your loved one sitting on a shelf.
Right.
And we don't want that. We want to give you every opportunity to come in to pick them up, to do what's right. But if for some reason that you don't, after 6 months, you'd get a courtesy call. But then, we would reserve the right to go ahead and either scatter those ashes or bury them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and now that's going to explain most of the things here. I assume that one thing I do need to ask you, I'm going to assume probably not, since she all are young, but did she have any kind of medical devices like pacemaker, defibrillators, anything like that? Okay, but no here. Okay, because we would have to remove them. Now, did you need me or want me to explain all the intricate steps in the cremation? I can do that. Most people don't want that.
No.
But I think most people have the basic understanding of what happens.
Okay.
So if you'll go ahead and sign that, that tells us who's going to perform it. You're giving us the right to claim them back. No medical devices there that are going to have to be removed. I explained to you the indemnity part of it. Okay, now, let's see. At the conclusion of all of this, and when you come back to pick up her remains, they're going to be in what we would call a temporary container. Now the contemporary containers, usually about 200 cubic inches of it. It's rigid. It's perfectly good to store those remains in. Is the actual, would you like to look at urns or something to place those in permanently? Do you know if you're going to want to scatter them or bury them at some point, or is that something that you're going to have to sit down with the family and think about?
That's something I'll have to sit down with the family and think about.
All right, now with that in mind, of course, like I said, you still have a lot of options. One of the things that has become very popular with people who have chosen cremation, and obviously you can see we've got a good selection of urns on the walls, and even more that we can order for you. If you want to look through here and choose an urn, if you don't see one that you like, if you want to keep them in the cremated or in the temporary container for a while till you choose, that's fine too. But the one thing I wanted to point out to you, there have come a long way in the options besides the urn. Now, you've got kids, so you have the option to You can split the cremains up between you, and when I say that, you can buy more than one urn if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Like for her parents, to each have a portion. But if you don't want to do that, there's also commemorative things that we can do her for, like jewelry. This has become very popular. We're doing this a lot more. Where we go back there and we can digitally get the fingerprint.
Oh, wow.
And then we can transfer that fingerprint to a company that's going to put them on different pieces of jewelry. As a man, you might even be interested in some of the other options that would have her fingerprint on it. Somewhere through here, I think they're even displayed like a knife. So if you're a hands-on guy and you work a lot outside, you can have a knife that has these on. You know, there's even one there with the Zippo lighter. So there's a lot of options here, different kinds of necklaces that would actually have, now I want to caution you, if you do get any of those necklaces that will receive some of the cremains, there's not going to be a lot in there.
Okay.
But you can put a small amount in some of these necklaces. And then of course different changes. There's just a lot of options there. Now if this is something that you know you want right now, we can go ahead and I can write down the items. If it's something that you want to look at and then make up your mind later, like when you decide what kind of urn you want, that's fine too. But I can let you look at this. You can bring the kids in. Y'all can sit down and look at it if you want to do that.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely bring the kids, and I think that'd really.
And I'm gonna leave a finger, I'm gonna leave this right here, this bookmark right there. And I'm gonna set this aside for you then.
All right.
And one day, whenever you wanna bring the kids in, if it's after the service, that's fine. If it's before, like during the visitation, you need to get a break from the crowd, you wanna come in, we can do that as well. All right, so I've already got you to sign the cremation authorization, explained all of that. Now, one of the things you're going to need to do in the coming days is decide what kind of clothes that Katie wants to be in the casket for the funeral. So that's completely up to you and the kids, whatever. If some people like especially for men, I've noticed they like them to be in the work clothes. And some say, no, this is definitely not that time, and they'll put them in a suit. But whatever you and the kids will get the most closure out of is the clothes you probably should use, whatever you want to see her in. And if there's anything that you want to display along with any flowers that would be here for that viewing and for the service itself, that'll be fine too. We can do that. Now, will you be wanting a video?
A video for like during the.
A video could be played during the visitation. It could be played during the actual service.
We got some pictures and stuff that we'd like for everybody.
Okay.
To
now
look at that.
On the video, we usually do about 25 pictures per song. Now, of course, it depends on how long the song's, but let's just say 20 to 25 pictures per song. So keep that in mind, and you'll need, of course, we'll need to know the songs that you want to play during that video.
Okay.
Do you think you'll want songs also during the service separate from the video?
No.
Okay, so probably video alone then. All right. Okay. It's going to be video alone and none of that. Okay. Now, I am going to have to get some information here, and what this is for, this is going to be for the death certificate. The way this is going to work, since you've chosen cremation, instead of having to wait for a medical doctor to sign on cause of death here in the state of Oklahoma, anytime there's a cremation, the cremation has to be signed off by the medical examiner. So once we get that done, then we will file for the permit and everything will be set up for the actual cremation. Now, as far as the death certificate is concerned, we're going to file this through Vital Records, and we can actually get a draft of it today. But on that death certificate, there will be a cause of death. So we're going to have to wait for them to give us a cause of death before that can go ahead and transpire. Now, I don't know how long to tell you. I can tell you what's normal. We usually have these death certificates back easily within 2 weeks, but sometimes it can be delayed for whatever reason. Now, the one thing I do want to stress to you right here, we need to get this information, make sure we spell everything right, addresses, everything is right. That way something doesn't come up in the system and they bring it back to us and we have to start all over.
Right.
Okay, so we'll just start with the basic things. Give me her full name.
Catherine.
Is that a C or a K?
That's with a C. Elizabeth.
Okay.
McMurtry.
Okay, now on the McMurtry, how is that?
MCM.
Okay, is it a little C or a big C?
Big C.
Big C.
URTRY.
Okay, now, did she go by a nickname? Did she have a nickname?
She just went, Katie. Everybody called her Katie.
Okay, was that C-A-T-Y?
Yes, sir.
All right, I do need an address.
Be 1901 West Ruth, RUTH.
Okay. Now, is that just Ruth or Ruth Street, Ruth Avenue?
Ruth Avenue.
Okay, here in Salisbury?
Yes, sir.
We have the county school. Zip. And a phone number.
It'd be 918-775-3992.
All right, date of birth.
Would be September 1st, 1990.
Okay, we put her at age of coming up to 34. Okay. Birthplace.
Would be Alva, Oklahoma.
Okay. Social Security.
Would be 035-99-2221.
Okay, let me read that back. 035-99-2221.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now was she Native American?
Yes.
Or, oh, she was, okay. Cherokee, I assume?
Yes, sir.
All right, and obviously married. Maiden name?
Boyd, B-O-Y-D.
Okay. What was her occupation?
She was just a office assistant.
It's been my experience that when you get a good office assistant, they're pretty much the one that's running the show most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just put this in general business as the industry then, or was there a specific?
Just, general business.
What was her education, her highest education?
She had 2 years. She had an associate's degree. Yes, sir.
All right, now I am going to need her father's full name.
It'd be Steve Boyd.
Do you know the middle name on that?
That's right up.
Okay, so make a note of that. Let's do list. Okay, mother's full name?
Her name was Catherine as well.
Okay.
Her middle name was May.
Okay.
Last name was maiden, or her last name was Taylor.
Okay. What was her maiden name as well?
As far I'm not sure of the maiden name.
Okay. All right. Got that. Of course, we have her date of death. And it looks like she died at home. Time of death, we have that. City, we have all of that. Now, was she in the military ever?
No, sir.
Okay. So I'll put applicable there, and you're the informant. We've got you listed course, I have your address. Now, I do need a phone number for you.
That'd be 918-775-3992.
Okay, veteran, okay. Now, do we know, without, well, your cremation, so we won't worry about that now. So let me reaffirm something to you. Okay, you are gonna wait to choose any items, be it keepsakes or urns, till a later date, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and as far as what you're gonna do with the cremains, you're gonna sit down with the family, we're gonna go ahead and have that service in a minute, but after that, you're gonna decide.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. All right, here, now, going back to the caskets, did you say that you wanted to choose a regular wood casket, or did the ceremonial
I
casket?
think the ceremonial one will be, I think that'll be the best fit with all that.
Okay, let's see. Here. I have enough here for a vital. Now, I won't be able to submit the vital records, but on your to-do list, I will need to get the maiden name for the mother and the middle name for the father.
Okay.
Before we can go forward with that. So let me step out. Okay, I've got the vital information as much as we can get. I'm going to take what you've given me, the fact that we know with the visitation, we know we're going to do a service. A few details about that we still have to work out. We're going to do it here at the chapel. We will be embalming Katie, but let me step out and I'm gonna go make a contract real quick.
Okay.
And as far as payment goes, we have different options for that. Of course, obviously you can pay cold hard cash, you can do a check, we do take credit cards if you wanna do that. So I'm just gonna leave it with you for a few minutes and let me go get a contract and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sure I can't get you something to drink?
No, I appreciate it. I'm good. Thank you.
All right, if you will, we are going to be doing an embalming. If you will sign at the bottom of that, please. All right, thank you very much. I've got this other signature. Now, this is your cost of goods and services of what we call contract. So I'll just kind of go down through here and explain it just a little bit. So we've got it in different sections and where we'll get our total right over here. But it starts out charges for services, so like professional services includes the staff, the embalming, of course, and dressing, casketing, in this case the crematory. Facilities and equipment and staff also gets a charge, and the use of staff for a viewing, which is the visitation, which will also be included in that.
Sure.
Then we've got the charge for merchandise, so other than, there's not going to be anything like on the urn or any keepsakes, which would not be there. It's not going to be on this contract because we haven't done that yet.
Right.
So, like the memorial package, which, by the way, we do need to pick out a book. We went ahead and put a standard price on there because we usually have that as part of our book. And these books here, they will come with folder material.
Okay.
But, you know, some of them, obviously, she's probably not gonna want one that's military since she wasn't in there.
Right. This one right here will be fine?
Pink?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here's what the paper will look like that will go with that.
Okay.
And you can see how it is. So these particular ones will fold in half. So that's the size of the memorial folder that you get.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work perfect.
Write that one down. Okay. So there's that charge. It goes in, we get a total of all of that included. And then we're gonna have come over here, and here's where we're gonna have like our cash advancements for your death certificates. I think you said you had wanted 2, so there you go on that. Oklahoma death certificates there. And incidentally, if you break that down, they're $15 a piece.
Okay.
And there is a handling fee of 15 plus it. First one basically gonna cost you $36, and every one after that costs 15.
Okay.
Summary right here, and then we're gonna add the taxes to it, and this is our final number.
Okay.
Now, you'll go ahead and sign there. As far as the method of payment, how do we want to secure this today?
We'll just go ahead and pay with credit card.
Okay. Tell you what we're doing. We've got enough information. We're going to step outside, and while we're collecting that payment, I'm going to write you a short to-do list.
Okay.
That'll include things like the clothes to bring. You need to give me the father's middle name, the mother's maiden name, pics. We're going to write down pictures for the video, the music for the video. Those are all things that we're going to have here in the coming days. Okay. David, I'm sorry we had to meet like this.
I appreciate it.
All right. We'll step out here and we'll go ahead and run